All right, we are live on YouTube. Welcome to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli. Glad you could join us here today. If you're here live, it is Friday, August 11th. Sorry, Thursday.
Honey,
I screwed that
Thursday.
up. I screwed up, baby. I screwed up. Let me take that back. It is Thursday. I'm a day ahead. August 11th, 2022. But if you're here on the replay, stick around because this is going to be part 2 of a very important show. We ended up doing part 1 earlier on in the week. I believe it was Monday when we did it, baby. And we were supposed to do this part 2 on Wednesday, but, you know, life happens, things come up, and you just got to do what you got to do. But anyway.
Yeah, and let me explain. I can explain to the listeners. There was my friend here where I live. He was out and about running his errands in the morning, and he's an older gentleman. And he fell. He tripped over something, and he really damaged his knee. So he needed help getting to the hospital and to the pharmacy and getting everything he needed. So I was pretty preoccupied most of the day with just trying to help my friend. And even this morning, I had to run out for him again to get him something else. So, you know, it's what you do when you have friends and you love people and you want to help. You've got to drop other things in your life just to be there for them.
Well, yeah, babe, you know, and you know, that's very noble of you to, you know, help this elderly gentleman out who happens to be your landlord, and he's a good friend. And, you know, I know you made some great peace with people in your town. I'd like to talk about that very briefly here at the beginning of this show before we get to part 2. Of us discussing how women's vulnerabilities are being used by men online and basically being abused by men online. We'll get to that in just a few. But I know you have some updates. You've pretty much made peace with all of your friends, all the people that, you know, kind of shut you out, or maybe you shut them out, or maybe had to step away because there was too much drama. How did that happen, and what inspired you to get to that place where you're at today?
Well, it had a lot to do with my landlord becoming hurt, because we are a close niche group of people in this small town. Everybody knows what's going on. And he had told me that he had already checked in with one of my other friends, and she you know, wanted to get an ambulance, send him to the hospital. But he said, no, I'll go home. And then once it started getting worse, that's when he asked me. So I put bygones aside, because we're talking about somebody's health or injuries. So I sent a text to this girl who I used to be best friends with. And I just let her know what was going on. And she was immediately right back to me. Thank you. I appreciate that. Keep me updated. And so while my landlord was being seen in the ER, he was there for 4 hours. So I did leave for a little while and go run a couple errands, but I did stop in where she works. And we talked, and we probably talked for about a good hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like we really kind of squashed the beef, and we can kind of move forward. It doesn't have to be the same as it was before, but we now know that we're in a good place with each other.
Well, it doesn't have to be the same, baby, because it's become a hell of a lot better than it ever was.
Yes.
Right? Is that a great way to look at it?
Yes. And I told her, I said, you know, despite all the drama and the crap and the shit talking that goes on, we are a village, and we come together in a time of need. We are our own little family here, and we've got to take care of each other. Right. So, and sometimes you just got to let bygones be bygones and just grow the hell up.
There you go. there you go. And isn't that something I've been talking about day in and day out here on my YouTube channels and through our coaching business? I mean, I talk
Yes.
about letting bygones be bygones, and some people just can't let shit go. And that's half the battle of turning your life around and becoming a better person.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And you have to let that shit go. It it
Right,
it's it's in the past, move forward. The future is where you make changes.
right,
And on
right.
a side note, I also want to update people on the gentleman who was doing a little bit of bullying to me um, while I was at darts about a month and a half ago. He is the one that also tried to look things up on you and do the background check and all that stuff. But we've also squashed our beef. We have come to terms with everything, and we are now on just a mutual field,
Sounds like you
you
become
know?
pretty good friends, and it's not a bad way to look at it. I know how you're looking at it, but I think what happened in that situation, babe, is that he saw that you've toughened up, and you've lightened up a lot, and you just want to have a peaceful, friendly time wherever you go, in your neighborhood, in your town, and that's what I respect about you, and I've always loved you from the very beginning. I've always seen that you're a great woman, but I've also seen you, um, over the last 11 months that you and I have been together, and you've been following my content, and we've started working together and running the business together about 3 months ago or so. Um, I've really just seen you, uh, just make tremendous strides to improve, and you have. And yeah, maybe weird for a man, your boyfriend to be saying that here, but I honestly mean it. And this is an unbiased opinion. I know it's very difficult, you know, to be unbiased when it comes to the woman you love. But my unbiased opinion about, this woman I've been with for the last 11 months or so is that she has completely, turned her life around in the way she sees herself, and, how she approaches people, and how she doesn't let the same shit that used to get to her anymore. Right, babe? Is that a fair statement before we move forward?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I used to be the mean girl. I used to be there mad dogging other women and just for no reason. I was just unhappy. And now I feel like a lot of weight has been lifted off of me. I've let a
Yeah.
lot of that go. Um, you know, like while I was there that night, there was a younger girl that was playing on a team she had never played before. She was really nervous. All I did was encourage her, give her that empowered love. And I even told her at the end of the night, I said, I hope I wasn't too much. I said, but I've just lived my life like with so many mean girls, and I'm tired of it. And I just want
Yeah.
us to know we're here together, just to rise above and be friends. I mean, we don't have to be best friends. We
Yeah.
don't need to exchange numbers, but we need to know that we've got each other's back when in times of need like that.
Right.
And
So,
she was very young, obviously older than 21 because she was in the bar. But
right.
she was like, wow, I have never met a woman that has been so kind to me other than my own mother.
You know what,
And
baby?
I
And
said, well,
that's because of the culture today that we live in, and the women her age are being raised in a different culture, and with social media and places like YouTube where we're at here, and Instagram, where women and men they're trying to get attention, and they're doing stupid shit to get that attention. People are just not real anymore, and you were just real with her. I think what threw her off is the fact that you were being genuine with her.
yeah, and I don't want to say it's just this generation. What's happened with this generation is they have just more ability with social media to bully and to project and all this other stuff. But this has
Right.
been going on with women for decades. We have been mean to each other for decades. There's literally a movie called Mean Girls because
Well,
we
yes.
exist.
Well, yes, baby, because like I've said in the past, and I'll remind everyone again, before women were liberated about 55 years ago, they got equal rights and, now they have equal opportunities in the workforce and all that. Women, had to, fight for survival. They had to find a man that was willing to take care of them. And when there was one really good guy and every woman wanted that guy, to reproduce with, have a family with and be taken care of by, that's the reason why women have always fought, because it's their way, it's their biological way of survival. And now in the modern
Yeah,
world where women have the same rights that men do, they're liberated. That biological side of them has never changed and never will change. That's the world that women are living in nowadays. I respect you ladies for having equal rights, no problem, but it is an artificial way that women are living ways, are living today, compared to their natural, biological essence. So that's where that comes from, baby. And when you, uh, you know, choose to be a good woman and not fight other women, it's not only odd to them, but it's refreshing to them.
I agree. And
And
that's
baby,
just
what?
what,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
that's literally just what I kind of wanted to get across to her is that, you know, there was a time that I had never thrown a dart at the dartboard and I got up and did it. And she's like, "But you're like a professional. You're so good." I'm like, "I am not that good. I'm just having a good night." Um, but I said, "You just got to get up and do it and don't worry about what anybody else says." You know, you got to just do it, whether it's darts, pool, dancing, whatever, comedy, YouTubing, get up there and do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because if that's your passion in life, or if that's something that isn't your passion, but it's something that you enjoy doing because it gives you a release from all the other stress in your world, go do
Mm-hmm.
it and don't give a shit what anybody else thinks. You know,
Right.
they
And
say laugh or they say dance like nobody is watching. That is the best therapy in the world.
yeah. And baby, one more thing, before we get to this, the second part of this show and get back to that, vlog we were going through, that we started at the end of part one earlier on in the week. Um, I think you have gotten tired of being, a drama queen, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I understand women like a little bit of drama to appease the emotions. I get it, but I think all women go through a stage where they're complete drama queens because it appeases your emotions, right? And it's how you're kind of naturally, biologically hardwired, right? But nowadays, life moves so quickly, and we need to expend energy elsewhere. And we realize if we waste too much of our time and energy, on drama, we're not going to have energy left to do the things we need to get done. So I think you got tired of being a major drama queen, like most women are, no disrespect, and you're trying to be the better person and help other women and men too, but primarily other women that are struggling with this, work through it and become a better person,
Well,
right?
yeah, yeah, and that's another great thing to talk about is I'm completely comfortable in my relationship. I'm secure. Um Everybody knows that. And so I have no problem walking up and talking to another friend of mine that's a male. And, we like the male friends I have here, their wives and significant others, they have no problem with me because I've been completely transparent that,
Right.
I don't want your husband or your boyfriend. It's just that I can't handle a lot of the women and it's easier to talk to a guy.
It is.
And it's a lot easier that way. And you know what, it's not a bad thing when, and I'm not single, I'm not going to say I'm single, but I am alone at home when I'm not with you. It's not a bad thing to have a few male friends that you can call on in case of an emergency that's closer
Sure.
than you, you
And
know?
there's nothing wrong with, me having, female friends. I mean, I have male and female friends.
Absolutely.
I haven't hung out with them in a while, but when you're secure in your relationship, you know, uh, when your significant other has, opposite sex friends and there's nothing going on. And,
Oh
but
yeah.
but see, yeah, go
You know,
ahead.
baby, we when we go out, you are like you're so social, you'll talk with anybody, male or female.
Correct.
And you know,
Especially
I'd
the cute servers we have, baby. Right? No, baby,
exactly. And then you know
you're
what I'd say? I'd
it's
say,
all.
"Yeah, she's cute." I say, "Yeah,
Yeah,
she's cute." You know, I'm
yeah.
totally secure, you know, and
And
I
then
give her just as much props.
and and then I joke with you and say, baby, don't worry, I'm not trading you in. I love you. Right?
Yes, and I know that, and it's just a matter of you're just a friendly person and you talk, and that's what I do when I'm out. I
Yeah.
like to talk to people. And so, you know, if I'm sitting there and somebody strikes a conversation, I'll talk to them, but I'll make it known I'm not
Hmm.
available, you know?
Well, that's why you want me to get you a ring, so that way it'll speak for itself. That's another good reason, baby. And we've talked about that behind the scenes, and one of these days we'll go public on some steps that we're going to be taking in the future, but we'll let people sulk on that for a little while, or sorry, not sulk,
Yeah,
soak on that for a little
soak
while.
on it and just kind of marinate.
Right. Now, real quick, babe, Autism Mom to Two's in the house. Hello to the both of you. And furthermore, Autism Mom to Two says, I know what you're saying. It seems to be easier to talk to the opposite sex about certain things. Well, the reason, in my opinion, that that feels that way to women, and babe, you can share your thoughts on this, and Autism Mom to Two, you can share your thoughts in the chat, is because real strong men are going to react and or overreact less emotionally than women do. So men, can sit there and have a conversation, with a woman that's just a platonic friend and, be very rational and be very logical. Whereas, when two women are talking together, it usually ends up, getting completely emotional. And then when
Absolutely.
women, and this is no disrespect, women are capable of being logical, but baby, this, and I say it over and over again like a broken fucking record. Women are emotional beings that respond to everything emotionally first based on how they're feeling in the present moment, 24/7, 365, right? And
Yes.
to a woman, there's only one thing that matters is how she feels at the present moment all day, every day, right? So
Mhm.
and so when two women are talking, with each other and it's an emotional, thing, it's I'm not saying you ladies can't get logical, but that's not your first way of responding. So with men, we'll get to the point where like, baby, you're being ridiculous, baby, or if it's a platonic friend, hey girl, hey, it's all good. Don't worry about it. We got it. We got it. It's all good, right? And with women, it's about you're being mean to me. You're making fun of me, or why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? And it's just like drama, right? Go ahead, baby, because we got to get going on the show here.
Yeah, no, yeah. Sometimes when two women talk with each other about something, and if they are not seeing eye to eye, that's when it can get really toxic and
Mm-hmm.
mean. And you know, because we give our opinions and we want the other person to listen to them and take them.
Uh huh.
Where I've noticed when I've talked to the male friends that have right now, I currently have two very good ones that I will speak with. Um, and they never take that approach. They listen and you know, they say, "Man, I'm sorry you're going through this. How can I help you?" And instead of igniting more flames, which is what women will do sometimes. Like my friend before, when I was in my past relationship, and I was telling her how unhappy I was. She kept coming back at me and saying, well, do something about it, leave him. And I'm like, but I'm kind of financially like stuck with him right now. And we have our dogs and I just don't know what to do. And she's like, well, I'm just tired of hearing all of this. If you don't want him, just leave him. And
Hmm.
I mean, it's a tough love you get from your girlfriends, but sometimes that's not what you need 24/7.
Right. And a lot of times, baby, it happens because when you have something that your other lady friends don't have, for example, having a good man in your life, they
Wait,
get
wait.
really jealous because every woman, no matter what they say, even in the modern world, would rather be with a good man that is successful financially and is strong mentally and emotionally and is a well balanced, decent guy that's not a sissy, but not an arrogant, pompous ass either. And so when you have something that every other woman wants, it creates natural jealousy. And that's just how women are. So I'm not surprised,
Yeah,
what happened
yeah,
with your friends in your town once we met and they started seeing you happy. All that's saying in a funny way, or all that's showing in a funny way, is that they wish they could have what you have. And now they finally come to terms with
yeah.
it later on down the road because guess what? You handled it respectfully, maturely, and professionally, like your YouTube username. I love that name, baby. And
Thank you.
and because you handled it that way and you didn't let them get to you and soak and suck you into their drama, now they're respecting you more. You see how it
Yeah,
works. And if you, I'm just going to say this, and we got to get on the show. I'll give you one more, a few more minutes here
thank you.
because we got
Yeah,
to get to the show. But but if you take the same approach with your family, the same things will happen that happen with your friends. And
yeah.
I see your life turning around, and I'm just so fucking proud of you. I'm seriously
I
proud of
love
you,
you.
babe. But go ahead. I love you too. Go ahead.
Um, yeah, I want to make it clear the two male friends that I have live in my town. It is not anybody on YouTube that I talk to. Um, because that I don't have that level of trust on YouTube.
Hmm.
So I've known these other gentlemen for well over 10 years. I can trust them. So
Right.
I just want to make that clear out there that these are two really good men that live here that are in relationships that I just met while I've been here, and it has nothing to do with YouTube. And I saw that last one and I agree. Dion is a great man, but so is my man.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, baby, that was a sock account trying to duplicate Autism Mom to Two's channel,
I know.
and
I
and and
understand that, but
and
I
so it's
just
not
want
a
to say, yeah, I
yeah.
just want to say out loud, yes, Dion is a great man, but I
Hmm.
don't know him personally. I've never met him. I have mad respect for him, but like my man is the best. He is
Hmm.
absolutely the best. He is
Hmm.
there for me 24/7 and I'm there for him 24/7.
Yeah, yeah. One more thing here. I'll read this deleted message, and they got banned because they were duplicating someone's account. Sorry, Eli. Dion is more of a man than you, and why do you put down strong women? First of all, I'm not trying to compare myself to any other man. The only man I worry about is myself, and trying to become the best version of myself I can be. So that is a very secure, type of behavior. And why do you put down strong women, baby? Why don't you answer that? Do I put down any woman, let alone strong
Um,
women?
no, quite the opposite.
Hmm.
I think in the beginning, like, when I started to watch you, you were out there helping, like your show is more about helping men to um deal with the modern woman.
Hmm.
And now I've seen a switch that you are actually out here trying to defend and maybe empower some of these women against, which is why we're doing the show we're doing today.
Yeah, I'm trying to empower them because what's happening is they're being attacked and bullied on the internet. by weak, pathetic, beta
Men.
female dog
It's not
boys,
yeah, it's not even
primarily.
women that are coming after
Yeah,
us. It's the men.
yeah, and it's happening primarily, and I hate to say it again, baby, it's happening primarily by the millennial generation, men aged 25 to 40. I don't see a lot of it happening, by men over 40, Gen Xers. And I don't see it, I don't even really see it happening as badly with men that are under 25, which are Gen Zers. I keep on referring back to the millennial generation as the worst generation of man. I'm not even going to blame women. Initially I was sitting there thinking to myself, could feminism have something to do with this? Maybe a little bit. Yeah, things have changed a little bit, but honestly, the main issue has been how the millennial men have showed up or not showed up. They are extremely feminized men. They are men that were raised more so by a feminine, father and a masculine mother, and or that maybe it was a single mother that raised a man and he didn't have a father to teach him, how to be a man, right? And so the millennial generation has had the most struggles amongst men, and a lot of them were bullied, growing up because of the way they were behaving. They were bullied in grammar school. They were bullied in high school, maybe even bullied in college. And so now they're lashing back at everyone by coming out here on platforms like YouTube and other social media platforms and basically attacking anyone and everyone they perceive to be better than them or want to be like. Let me read this real quick, baby. Autism Mom to Two says, when I talk to my girls, it seems like I'm more angry when I talk about issues, and when I talk to men, it's simple, and I seem to get point across faster because you're dealing with less emotion, especially if you're talking to a man like myself, humbly speaking, a strong, emotionally and mentally strong man, that's respectful and has his shit together, right? And is very well centered in his masculinity. So, but if you talk to some of these, millennial type of guys, not all millennial men are like this, but a lot of them are. There are more, millennial men like the way I've described it than not. And so when you come across those guys that are more feminized, they're reacting to you in the same ways as women are, or even worse. Because at least women, to a certain extent, are supposed to be that way. When men behave that way at all, it's just the worst thing. And that's why I say it's worse than a woman. I'm not saying it's bad for a woman to necessarily behave within her essence, but it is the worst thing possible for a man to behave, like a woman, or be even more emotional than most women nowadays. Does that make sense, baby, before we move forward?
Yeah, and first and foremost, I want to say hello to Lewis. Thank you for being here. Thanks for the
Hey,
thumbs up.
Lewis. Yeah.
Yeah, no. And yeah, I think what it is when we talk to our girlfriends, we all have our opinions and we go back and forth and we overtalk and it does kind of ignite some emotions
Oh,
because
yeah.
there are times that I just want to just let it all out and not have anything be fixed
Mm-hmm.
or given examples to like how to change. I just want to get all the emotion out. But
Mm-hmm.
they're like, well, this is what you're doing and this is what you're doing and da 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 da. Where when I went to lunch last week with my friend, the one of my good male friends here, we were supposed to go with him and his wife, but she was not feeling well, so she stayed home.
Yeah.
Um, and we were there, uh, and he just listened and he's like, wow, wow, girl. Like he goes, you just tell me whatever you need me to do for you.
Yeah.
He told me some serious stuff. He told me about his daughter trying to commit suicide. It was a heavy conversation, but it was something that we both needed to do, and he could let what he needed out, and I let what I needed out.
Right. And you know what it's all about, baby? And then we got to get to this blog here because, wow, what a great conversation at the beginning of the show. You know, like my buddy, Coach Corey Wayne, another great coach I support out here on YouTube. I highly suggest you subscribe to Coach Corey Wayne as well. Coach Corey Wayne says, when a woman feels heard and understood, the legs open. And when a woman doesn't feel heard and understood, the legs close. Right? So, because like I keep saying, baby, what matters most to women is how they feel. Right? And if they're not feeling good, like 100% about you and everything else, then they don't feel heard and understood. And then if you're the man and you want to get a little frisky, the legs are going to close. Right? Right? Baby.
Yeah, no, I do agree with that at some
It's a
point.
figure.
Yes.
It's a figure of
It,
speech, baby. I'm not
yes,
trying to
no,
be
I
mean,
say
but it's true too.
no,
It
no.
is true. Yeah.
Yeah, what I'm saying is when we women are not feeling like we're being heard, or validated,
Or
then yeah,
understood.
we don't, or understood, then we don't want to give up the poo nanny.
No, you don't.
We're good. No, we're good. We're good by ourselves. You know, we can
You
handle
get
that
the
shit on our own.
you get the right.
Yep.
Baby, let's get to this blog here because I mean we could do.
Let's.
You know what, baby? Maybe if we have some energy later tonight, maybe we'll come back for a brief second show, just you and I shooting the shit for an hour. Would you
That's
possibly be
fun.
up for that?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I have an appointment this afternoon I have to get to, but after that, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we would do it early, and it would only be like an hour, just us in the audience and answering questions and stuff like that. We'll see how it goes, but I'm definitely going to be doing a Walking with Purpose stream a few hours or so on this same channel here, folks. Coach Eli 2 Authentic Live Streams, later this afternoon. So, all right, got 13 in the box. 4 thumbs up. Please smash the thumbs up and share this out. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. Lewis, Autism Mom to 2, and anyone else watching. Let's go ahead and switch on over to the browser source. There it goes. All right. So we actually started this show, I believe was this past Monday, and we were going over YouTube stuff, YouTube's stronger stance on creator harassment, which they did that for a little while back in the middle of 2019 when they first, enacted that policy. But now, like, it just seems like, all they care about is the money, which I can understand that. I understand YouTube's a business. No disrespect. I love YouTube. I appreciate that, they allow us to have 2 monetized channels here and let us do what we do. But I still think there's a lot more that needs to be done. And then we got into this blog right here that'll pop up on your screen in a second, babe, because we do have a minute delay here.
No worries.
This is from the Commissioner for Human Rights website, and the title again is "No Space for Violence Against Women and Girls in the Digital World." One more time, no space for violence against women and girls in the digital world. We went over the first couple paragraphs at the very end of part 1, so we're going to skip that. If you missed any parts of this, go back and check out part 1. Later, today or another time down the road. I'm sure you know how to find it. It's a few videos down on this same channel here. So let's go ahead and scroll down to the next part here. And I remember, baby, you'll see it pop up on your screen a minute later, and you'll probably, jump out of your seat when that happens. That whatever that dragon figure, trying to bite or yell at the lady turning her head. You remember that picture, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, all right. So the next part, harmful impact on women and girls as a society. Harmful impact on women and girls and society as a whole. All right. The digital dimension of gender-based violence has a serious impact on the lives of women and girls, including their safety, their physical and psychological health, livelihoods, family ties, dignity, and reputation. It is emblematic of long-standing problems of gender inequality, structural violence, and discrimination against women anchored in society, and is also a demonstration of current broader trends undermining the progress made. This is a big run-on sentence. Made in the overall protection of women's rights and the advancement of gender equality. Not only does violence perpetrated in the digital sphere amount to gender-based violence against women and girls, breaching a wide range of human rights as protected by international and European human rights standards, but it also, excuse me, my voice here. Yeah, it's my allergies. I took my Flonase before I went live, so my apologies. I had to mute for a second. You can hear me, right, baby?
Yes.
Let's read that again. Not only does violence perpetrated in the digital sphere amount to gender-based violence against women and girls, breaching a wide range of human rights as protected by international and European human rights standards, but it also has a chilling effect on democratic closure. So gender-based violence, babe, yeah, it happens a lot. Happens a lot more stemming from social media. What are your thoughts on gender-based violence and what we just, what I just read there?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, it absolutely is true. It has a serious effect on women and young girls. Um, you know, it's really hard to go out there on the internet and put yourself out there because you never know what you're walking into these days.
Right.
And, you know, it's just a scary thing. You don't know, somebody is going to hack into your accounts, or, if you're just too open with them at first, like what's going to happen? Like, yeah, it's scary. It's a
Baby,
scary world for women.
you're starting the robot a little bit. Are you walking around by any chance, or?
No, no, I'm sitting here.
Okay. No problem. It'll fix itself then. Continue. Sorry about that.
Okay. Oh yeah, no, I was just saying that, the protection of women's rights is just, it's it's asinine and stupid. I mean, what do they say when you get attacked online or somebody is stalking you? Oh, go get a restraining order. This little piece of paper is going to protect you
It's not going to do
from
shit.
being killed. Yeah, I know, it's
Yeah.
bullshit. And that's
Yep.
why it's so scary for us women, because we really don't have that protection.
Yeah, and let's talk about that real quick. Do you mind if I hop on in here? Excuse me.
Yeah,
Give me a second here. All right, I had to get a good clearing there because the Flonase is really breaking up everything in there. But here's the thing, babe. The problem is this. Cyberbullying and harassment, there's really not much you can do about it until it's too late. So you basically have to ignore it. If you get a restraining order on someone, what's that going to do? Absolutely nothing.
it's
Okay.
it's nothing but just ignite more of
Fuel to come at
their
you.
desire. Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
their fuel to come after you.
And the problem we have nowadays, especially with these millennial men, and even some of the younger Gen Z men do this. These guys create these massive, hate attack groups behind the scenes, and they will troll your channels on YouTube, or they will attack you in real life. And a lot of times the person that you have the restraining order on gets other people to do their dirty work, right? So
Absolutely.
all you're doing at that point is, pissing them off more. And it's frustrating because no one deserves to be treated the way you're being treated. So restraining orders
Yeah.
don't work. If you try to get a cease and desist order, threatening to sue these people, all they do is make fun of you online and say, I'll take a piss on your cease and desist. And it rhymes. And that's what they do.
Yeah.
Right? Right? So that's a waste of time. It doesn't work. Right? Okay.
Yeah.
And so calling the police, all they say is it's a YouTube beef, just ignore it, right? You call the FBI, they refer you back to your local police, which again says, it's a YouTube beef, right? And 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 so when you go through all that, and let's say it happens out here on YouTube, for example, because I've seen it happen to many people. Even lately, I've seen many people talking about this, right? When you go through this and you talk about it, you're basically further, making that creator more cocky, because now they feel they're unstoppable. And then they start talking more crap about you, saying you can never shut me down. You can never get me shut down. If I was a bully, I would have been shut down already. Well, these people are bullies, but they know that the system does not really do anything about bullying and harassment unless the social media site takes sight and punishes the creator, which rarely happens. One of the most difficult things to do on social media is get content or a creator removed for bullying and harassment. And so you just got to ignore it. You got to protect yourself as best as possible and just keep moving forward. That's all you can do. And eventually, when, these people that are bullying people do something very crazy, at some point they will be removed. So everyone will have their day. Trust me. What are your thoughts about that, baby?
Oh no, I agree. Let's move on.
All right. The specific impact on women exposed to intersecting forms of discrimination. Violence in the digital world can be especially harmful for those women and girls at risk of or exposed to intersecting forms of discrimination. For example, women of color are more impacted by violence online or through digital means than white women. Well, give me a second. Wow, this stuff is really breaking down today. I think the reason why women of color are more impacted is not necessarily because these people are trying to attack them based on their color. They just attack anyone for any reason that gets them a reaction, which still doesn't make it right, and it's still racism. But it's more so bullying and harassment, in my opinion. What are your thoughts, baby?
Well, yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, what they're saying is that Black women they're being 84% more likely to receive abusive tweets on Twitter. That has
Correct.
nothing to do with like sex or anything. They're just being bullied based on the color of their skin
Right,
and the fact that they're
basically,
women.
right, and basically these guys, it's primarily guys doing it. They use the N word just to trigger them, right? They say the N word, whether they mean it or not, they say it just to get a reaction online and make content out of it. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, and as it goes on, it explains in the different areas how this is going on in all aspects of social media. Um, you know, women of any color, any race, any any gender, um, equality that they want, they're all beautiful. And unless somebody comes at you, then there's no reason for these men, these like incels. They're just low life bottom feeders that just want to pick on women to make themselves feel better based on their ethnicity, their social demographic, their habits in life, whatever it has to come down to, you know?
It's a projection, and it's the only way they feel that they can get attention and traction, baby.
Yeah. I mean, I walk around and literally tell everybody how beautiful they are. You know, I don't have um, you know, I don't see black, white, Asian, Mexican, anything like that. I just see beauty. I see kindness in people's hearts. And I don't care what race they are. I don't care what gender they are. I
Right,
don't care if they
right.
want to dress up and walk down the street trying to look like RuPaul. if they are a nice, kind-hearted person, they're going to get my respect because you know what? Nobody tells me how to dress every day. I have my own style as a
Right.
woman. And, many people might not agree with that. They might think I should dress up a little more or dress down a little more or whatever, not wear so much makeup or wear more. But it's not their opinion. This is who I am.
I
And
know,
and
but baby, here's the thing. I think some people on social media intentionally say the N word and attack women because it gets them attention. Does it make it right that they're acting
no,
to get attention? No.
no, it's the most disgusting word on the
Right,
planet.
right.
And and to say that to a woman is even worse. I mean, if men want to go at each other like that, that's one thing. But going after a woman and calling her names like that, it's disgusting to me.
It is.
It's worse than calling a woman a bitch. It literally is to me.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Because
Wow.
sometimes I take that as a compliment.
Right, right. All right, let's continue. Women belonging to religious. Hold on a second, Dave. Women belonging to religious or ethnic minorities may also be a particular target. In North Macedonia, for example, a Facebook page seemed to target specifically Roma women, posting explicit private photos and videos as well as disparaging comments against them. Amnesty International also found that women with disabilities, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, or intersex women, LBTI, experience higher rates of online
Um,
abuse on Twitter.
I'm sorry. Why are they qualifying women with disabilities and including lesbian, bisexual, transgender, or intersex women? That is not a disability.
Uh,
That's not a disability.
okay.
If you want to go medical terms, a disability is
I
something
think yeah,
that
baby,
enables you.
before you keep going, I think you misunderstood what was written there. Amnesty
Okay.
International also found that women with disabilities and then lesbian, bisexual, and transgender or intersex women not
Oh,
they're
okay. Yes.
so this person is not
Woof.
the way
I
that
got
this
I
is
got
written,
heated.
the way this is written. It's from a different country, I believe, and it's just a lot of run-on sentences. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, that just got me heated because
That's okay.
there's a difference. But yeah, I understand what they're saying now. They
Yeah, there
are
is.
targeted more. They're
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah,
targeted more for their choices in life. And not disabilities, you can't choose that. I won't mention anybody's name, but we have several people that we know in YouTube that have disabilities and they
correct.
have been belittled and just made fun of at other people's expense.
Oh,
And
they're
it
being
just,
exploited too. They're being exploited,
yes.
and it's just really they're being
I
exploited
mean,
for profit. It's ridiculous.
there is one woman, for example, I'm not mentioning her name, but I honestly still feel bad for her because I think she's still being exploited, even though she left our group and she joined another one. I think it's continuing. She doesn't quite get it, you know?
Well,
She
to each
she
its own,
has
you know.
yeah, to each his own, but it just makes me sad because she got sucked in by a certain male that is manipulating her and making her think the wrong thing.
No, sure, baby. And
So,
the thing is, I mean, you know, I appreciate you sharing that, but these people know who the people know who you're talking about, and that's going to
oh,
encourage these
absolutely.
people. That's going to encourage these people to clip this and do stupid shit like that. And quite frankly, I mean, it's up to you what you want to say, but I don't want to give any of those people any notoriety. I don't want to give
No,
anyone any reason to come at us for stupid shit, you
I
know.
don't either. I want to say I just feel bad because I've seen the manipulation. I've seen them take advantage of her vulnerability and her disability. And I feel bad for that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. Let's continue here.
Wow, wow, baby, those allergies are killing you today.
Yeah, they are. They really are. It's just really bad right now. So, I mean, I'm having a hard time making it through the show, but I'll be just fine. Um, let's see. LBTI activists who take an active role in public fora are particularly targeted for their sexual orientation and gender expression. This has been the case, for example, of a Spanish lesbian journalist. In Armenia, several political figures engaged in hate speech online against the chairperson of the Right Side NGO for being a transgender woman, after she addressed the Armenian parliament and called for the upholding of transgender people's rights. Such attacks are particularly dangerous because they not only have a serious impact on the well-being and human rights of the person concerned, but also have the effect of further spreading hateful narratives and limiting access to the democratic debate for women affected by intersecting forms of discrimination. Anything you want to add to that, baby?
Okay, yeah, I just want to ask what the difference between cyberbullying and hate crimes, because this now sounds like they're putting up hate crime speeches. And there's a difference between being hateful towards a certain group of people, and that needs to be taken serious.
I think hate crimes are basically race-based or gender-based,
Nope,
and then
nope, no. They are. There are several cases of straight males going out and beating up gay males, and just as a hate crime because they can't understand how this
yeah,
person
baby,
lives their life.
baby,
That's a hate
yes,
crime.
yes, baby. I understand that. I was just, speaking. You can throw in, gay men and stuff like that. Sure, we can add that
Gay
in
men,
there.
gay women, transgenders. A
Right.
lot of transgenders are men that are dressing up as women, and they are being targeted and beaten up just because they want to express themselves. That's a hate crime in my eyes.
Yeah, baby. We can add on top of race and gender. We can add sexual orientation to that. Like we could sit here and go through the entire civil rights and
Yeah,
anti-discrimination
and we'll
laws
be
and
here
stuff
all
like
day.
that. Right. Age, race, sex, national origin, sexual orientation, you know. So I get it, baby. You're very passionate about this. And yes, I would consider those, hate crimes. Sure. Cyberbullying is basically just coming at someone to just pick on them online, pretty much.
Just behind the keyboard. Yeah. But when you're
Yeah.
actually going after a group of people,
That is hate
and
speech.
yeah, and so when you are
Right.
doing it even online, I mean, they can get you for hateful content
Yes.
because you could be collaborating a group of people to do this.
So on YouTube, when somebody is like coming at me and they're just teasing me, overly teasing me, or just attacking me, right? Not based on any of those aspects we mentioned. That's cyberbullying and harassment, um,
Yes.
and that's what you would flag that for. The other stuff on YouTube, you would flag it for hateful and abusive content. Hateful or
Yes.
abusive or abusive content. That's you know hate speech and all that stuff. So, does that make sense now? Or
Well, yes. Yeah, it does. And I think when anybody is attacking somebody on YouTube and they are trying to change what their identity is, they're putting things on their picture, they're manipulating their
Yeah.
streams. That's hateful. That's
Well,
not,
yeah.
that goes above and beyond bullying
Well, that's hateful and
because,
abusive content right there. Yes.
yeah, because
Yeah, but
basically the people hate you when they do that.
yeah, and the bottom line is it is very difficult to get that stuff removed, especially on YouTube. Like it really, you basically have to, um, show something, sexually explicit, which would basically take down your whole channel. Like if you flag someone for nudity and there's nudity there, they'll take it down and your channel down right away. But for bullying and harassment and hate speech, vulgar language, hateful and abusive content, it takes a lot. And that's what these creators prey on. They play the system and they know how to play
Yeah.
the system and they know how to play people. And that's because of what they've been through in life. They've been bullied in life because they're, and it's men primarily doing this. It's because they were raised to be more of a feminized man, and they've been bullied for it, and now they're clapping back. That's all they're
And I
doing.
want to, and I want to just touch base because you mentioned a lot about the millennial, men. And I think it has to do with a lot of the deadbeat dads in that generation. There were a lot of single moms out there that had to raise these children on their own.
Well, that's Gen
And
Xers and baby boomers. Yes, that's where it started. Correct.
yes, but I
Yeah.
mean, that's what I'm saying is like in the Gen X, we had these kids and the dads left, so they weren't raised the right way
Right. They didn't
because they
have
only had a
a good
male,
father figure.
a good male influence, you know? And what they thought of their father for just bouncing has now, given them a perception of life that is not okay. They are angry. They're like confused. Why doesn't my dad want to be a part of my life?
Right.
So now I'm just going to go out and be angry.
Because he just wanted to bust nuts and not worry about, the repercussion of pregnancy. Because back
Yeah,
in those
bust
days,
nuts and bounce.
back in those days, baby, birth control wasn't as easily accessible, and there weren't the permanent method of birth controls available today, like the IUD and stuff like that. And the pill that was available back then, even if you got it prescribed and you're taking it, women would forget it. That's the problem. So
Sorry,
that's
I
why.
threw that
That's why.
on mute for a minute.
No problem. Then
I had to
that's
start
what.
because the dogs got
That's
going.
okay. That's that's why I feel there were a lot of unplanned pregnancies, and that's why a lot of these millennial men turned out the way they turned out. And
Yeah,
you can't really blame them for it, but by the time these men reached their 30s, and most of them are in their 30s now, millennials are 25 to 40, they should have figured it out on their own, right?
yeah,
When you have
but baby, sweetheart, it's even going on today because let's look at MTV. They have made a franchise on 16 and pregnant, and it has gone on, and I've watched it, and half of the men that knock these women up are no longer involved. There are a
that is
few that
true.
are very good. Yeah,
That is true.
there are a few that are still there, but I'm saying it's still happening even in today's millennial Gen Z world, you
Right.
know, where these men are just not taking responsibility for their actions. They don't
That's
even
true.
want to glove up. They don't even want to glove up.
Well,
It's like,
they say it doesn't feel as good, which is true, but here's the
oh
thing.
my God.
Well, that is true, baby, but the bottom line is it doesn't excuse irresponsibility. So what I'm
All
saying
right.
is that,
So
but baby, let me get
question.
baby,
Okay, go
can I
ahead.
finish my can
Yeah.
I know gosh. Whew, man. Anyway, I understand that they need to glove up and all this and that, but even if they don't want to and they're with the right woman, they need to make sure she's on some semi-permanent method of birth control that's going to be reliable, and she's a reliable person and she's not trying to trap the guy, right? So I think that the
Yes,
problem is
but
these men are being very irresponsible, and they're just assuming that if a woman lets you, let's just call it what it is, raw dog her, let's say that she's automatically on some kind of birth control. That's not the case. No, that's not always the case. But go ahead.
yeah, no, it's you can ask a woman to be on birth control, but why is it the woman's complete responsibility? That's what I'm saying. If a man does not want to have a baby, even if it doesn't feel the same, you need to glove up until you're ready to make that commitment of
Yeah,
having a baby, you
and like
know?
we've said before, baby, even the IUD has about a 1% fail rate, which is very low. It's very rare that they're going to fail,
Very
but
rare, you're
but there's
probably going to
still
have a tubal.
but but there's still the possibility of it, even with the IUD. So, if you are not prepared to be a father, even with the best method of birth control, then yes, glove up or don't do it at all. Abstinence, you know,
Yeah. I mean,
that's
it
that.
sucks. It sucks. I mean, I don't want to go without sex, but when you got to make this is a lifelong decision. It's not it's even more critical than proposing to a woman
Right,
and taking her into your life. Because once
right.
you have a child, that is your child forever.
It's
There's
it's your
nothing you can
legal
do.
it's your legal responsibility. But if you
For
are
18 years,
if
for
you are
18
a
years.
okay, God, if you are a responsible man, even though it's your legal responsibility to take care of your child until they're 18, forget about that. What about your morals, values, and ethics? Right? That's the problem nowadays. And I guess this did start with the boomers and then the Gen Xers. They didn't raise these kids with morals, values, and ethics, right? And these kids nowadays have absolutely zero morality. They have no values. They're very unethical. And as long as they're not breaking the law, they feel they can ride the line of what's ethical and push it to the limit, you know,
And
to
they
be
take no
successful.
responsibility.
And they take no responsibility, and then they get other people to do their dirty work for them, which is even more pathetic, right? Right.
Yes.
So, and then they say, oh, I've
And
never
this is
done
on
this.
all
I've never done
platforms.
that. Yeah, it
Yeah, this is
is.
on
It
all
is.
platforms. It's not just millennials or Gen Z. It's all of the human race right now.
It is. But the primary, what I'm seeing more than any other generation that is exploiting this for profit on the internet is the millennial generation. I understand all
Well,
generations are doing this, but the millennials are exploiting it the most for
and
profit.
unfortunately, MTV made it a platform to exploit this.
Right. Right.
You
So,
know,
I mean,
they made it popular to
right.
watch teenagers have babies. And so I watched the first season
Hmm.
and I only follow the first four because now their kids are like teenagers, you know?
Right.
But those are the only ones that I've followed. And, they have gone through men. They don't have the only one that has the same baby daddy is I think Caitlyn, and that's it. And the other ones have rotated through men, and it's just, yeah, just a shit show of, these guys running away, not taking responsibility.
Yeah.
Um, not showing up, not picking their kids up, and leaving it all on these women. And whether they have boys or girls, these women are responsible for raising them and teaching them how to be. And so it's difficult, especially like a lot of these people on that show, they don't have father figures either. A lot of these girls don't have father figures. So they're there with their mom, their sisters, their
Mm-hmm.
friends, you
Mm-hmm.
know, their dads
Yeah.
are in jail. It's crazy. So it shows how this world has turned around and
Uh-huh.
like there's no family establishment where people stay
Yeah.
straight, do their
Baby.
jobs, go to work, come home
Yeah.
and raise their family. Yes, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. On a tangent.
You are, baby. You can no disrespect. You can talk when it's during the daytime. Like you could talk about one thing for 2 hours, and I'll just sit here and listen. But no, it makes sense. I'm just saying, let's get through this one more part here, and then we got to take our first break, and then we'll come back for another 45 minutes to an hour. We may not get
All
through the
right.
whole thing. We'll get through as much as possible, and then share the link so people can check out the rest of it if they'd like. So let's continue. Violence online used to discredit women's collective power. Just speaking out, regardless of being a private individual or public figure about certain issues online, often when related to feminism, gender equality, sexual abuse, or specific aspects of women's rights, such as sexual and reproductive health and rights, may be a trigger for violence and abuse. In particular, I noted how women who stand in solidarity with other women who have been victims of violence or sexual abuse, using their collective power to speak out and amplify their voices online, have been attacked in the digital sphere. For example, in Serbia, following the revelation of sexual violence in an education institution, women created the Facebook page hashtag Ni
Don't even say it.
some trazilla.
I
Anyway,
didn't ask for it. He said, I
I,
didn't ask
I,
for it.
all right. Thank you, baby, for reading what's on your screen. For women in the region of the former Yugoslavia where they could report sexual violence in a safe space and share their own experiences anonymously. This resulted in widespread criticism and mockery online against them, and even sexist jokes, unsolicited sexual content, and threats of physical aggression. Their page was quickly their page was quickly unduly reported by a number of users to the social media platform, while attempts were made to hack their personal private profiles. In addition, several persons received emails from a fake address similar to the official address of the page, containing inappropriate and false content. So they were trying to do a phishing scam or come off like they're the official person to get them to do something. Such attacks may lead women and girls to self-censor and limit their interactions online, or drive them off social media completely, pushing them again into silence. It undermines the network of support and solidarity created by women to show other women that they are not alone, even in the digital space. And baby, I will say to any woman out there that feels is being bullied and harassed by another man on this platform or anywhere else on social media or online, please reach out to me, Coach Eli at coacheliasmelas.com, and my lady and I will help you out. We will do a video on it. If you need personal help, that's something that we do charge for if you need one-on-one help. But you want to send us an email and let us know what's going on, we can maybe do a stream regarding your story and keep you anonymous and help you out as best as possible, because that's part of what we do here. What are your thoughts about that, baby, before we go on our first break?
Oh no, I agree. I actually was gonna kind of say the same thing. You know, this was all just it's crazy and I know how it feels to be attacked online. I know how it feels when people spread rumors about you that are untrue. And I know how it
Mm-hmm.
is that you can't really do much about it. But yeah, we will be there and we will figure out what we got to do if somebody's really coming out of you out for you, I should say. Um, because this is not okay. This is like, I don't know, y'all can hear I'm very passionate about this because it's been happening too long. Um, Men will draw women in to send pictures and then they'll exploit them with those pictures. It's a bad world out there. And if
That
anybody
Hunter
needs
that
help
that that Hunter Moore 3-part miniseries, whatever it was
on
on
Netflix,
on Netflix, it
The
really
Most
opened up
Hated
your
Man
eyes,
on the
huh?
Internet. It's called The
Yeah,
Most Hated Man on the Internet.
yeah,
And I suggest y'all watch that if you have
oh yeah,
Netflix.
yeah. Check it out. If you don't know, Hunter Moore, is anyone up? He created that site many years ago, exploiting, women's pictures, um, without their permission. Like you can't do that. You can't put out stuff like that without people's permission. And then especially he was, hacking into women's emails accounts and putting their pictures out there and then finding out their Facebook information and attaching their address information and all that. Um, Baby, hang on one second. Take over. I got to take this real quick.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, it was a very interesting mini series, 3 parts. It shows how he completely manipulated women. So any of you ladies out there, you want to watch, like I said, it's The Most Hated Man in a on the internet on Netflix. I believe it was in the top 10 last week. So you can go and look at that. But it was very interesting to watch. Um, he was very like persuasive. He had a swag about him that just completely manipulated women. And unfortunately, that happens a lot in this world. These men use their money, their looks, their attitude to draw young, vulnerable women in. So I have no idea where he went. Anyways, so yeah, it's a very interesting one. There's also another thing on Netflix. I think it's called The Web of Design, if I can remember correctly, but it goes over a lot of things that can happen on the web that can um, take you down. The first episode was about swatting, which is very popular here on YouTube. People will call in the SWAT team. So that was an interesting thing to see what happened with this one individual. So yeah, I've just been doing my research and just watching a lot of stuff that has to do with social media, YouTube, and just getting familiar with all this.
I'm back.
Wow. Okay, good.
Yeah, thank you. I had to take care of something, and everything's all good. So, thank you for
Oh,
filling in
I
there,
also
baby. And
was
I and I
telling
and
them,
I heard
yeah,
most of
I
what you
also,
said.
oh, about the other one, the Web of Designs or something.
Yes, and all
Yeah.
that, and yeah, we're gonna actually probably do some reviews to those shows because I'm sure there's information about them online, and we want to refer people to watch these things because we want to share with you folks content that's actually going to teach you how to better protect yourself, how to, handle these situations in an online digital world because that's where we're at. And there are many people that are exploiting people, because of the way things are nowadays. And you need to learn how to protect yourself from being exploited. And half the battle is just ignoring things and not feeding into things because a lot of the times these people just want to get a reaction out of you, and that's what gives them clout. So stop giving
Yeah.
them a reaction and they won't have any clout. So, baby, let's do this. Let's take a break. We're at 1 hour and 14 minutes. We're going to come back for another 45 minutes, maybe an hour max.
Sounds great.
And then I'm going to get ready for a walk after that. And who knows? Maybe we'll come back for a brief show tonight and just answer questions. So, all right, baby, I'm going to put you backstage. I'm not going to forget to put you backstage. Here you go, babe. See you in a little bit, all right?
Bye.
Bye. All right. So, wow, what a great first half of the show. Great, prelude at the beginning of the show. Check it out if you missed it on the replay. And just great stuff so far, folks. Stick around for the second half. We're going to get a little more into it. We're not going to be able to make it through this entire blog. It's way too long, but I will share the link in the chat once we're done with the show. And then I'll also share it in the description section of this part 2. All right. So music is all queued up. I've already queued up the music. We're going to step away for a quick break, 8 or 9 minutes. And, give me just a second here. And we'll continue when we get back. So stick around. Stick around. Round. We'll be right back. We're back. Welcome back, everybody. Gotta feel it. Gotta feel the groove. Feel the rhythm and the beat. Shake it all about. Yeah. All right. Oh, I love this song from the YouTube audio library. It's Seventh Floor Tango by Silent Partner. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, baby. I can't do it. It's all good. Yeah. All right. Welcome back to Navigating the Modern World with Coach Eli, live here on YouTube, live on Coach Eli 2 Authentic Live Streams, the live streaming home of my coaching business. If you have not subscribed already, please subscribe, bang the bell, select the notifications, and that way you won't miss anything here when we go live, when my lady and I go live, or when I go live solo. Coming up later this afternoon, I'll be doing a Walking with Purpose live stream here. That'll be a couple hours or so after this show ends. Also, make sure you subscribe to my main channel, Coach Eli, Elias, Melas. Nightbot's been sharing the link every 7 minutes in the chat, or just go to youtube.com/Life Coach Eli. I will be putting out some fresh, new, bite-sized, pre-recorded content on that channel starting very, very soon. I will be also doing some more YouTube shorts, and we're going to be creating some more exclusive members-only content over there as well. Also, if you would like to make a donation to support this channel here, or the business, or my lady and I, and you're getting value from this content, feel free to make a donation any amount based on the value you feel you are receiving. You can hit the super chat at the bottom and send a highlighted message while we're live on the air, or at any time, whether we're on the air or off the air. You can make a donation via Cash App or PayPal. Nightbot's been sharing my PayPal and Cash App links. My PayPal and Cash App links, I can't even talk, every 7 minutes. On PayPal, you can go to paypal.me/Coach Eli. And on Cash App, you can just go to $, the real Coach Eli. And as always, donations are greatly appreciated, but they are not required. All right. Yeah, we don't beg for donations here, but they are appreciated. And, the people that do support us monetarily, obviously, we're going to focus more of our attention to you, but we're still going to give people that don't donate. We're still going to give you, respect as well. All right. Let me bring my lady back onto the StreamYard here. Hey, babe.
What up?
Oh, what up? Well.
What up?
Okay. All right. You know how I feel about that what up, ghetto style stuff, right?
I know, that's why I'm triggering you.
Oh, you think you're triggering me, huh, baby?
Just like when you say my name all the time, all day long.
Okay, we're not going to get into that here, obviously, for obvious reasons. But anyway, baby, let's get back to the show. Today, we've been doing part 2 of the show titled, My Lady and I Discuss How Women's Vulnerabilities Are Being Used by Men Online. By men online, I mean. One more time. My lady and I discuss how women's vulnerabilities are being used by men online, or being abused, in my opinion, by men online. This is part 2. Part 1 happened earlier on in the week, so check that out if you haven't seen it after this show ends. So let's get back to this blog here. And I got to tell you, baby, like Lewis was saying in the chat, this whole entire world needs rain to wash out all this allergy pollen crap. Yeah, it's gotten pretty bad. Jackson Black's in the house. Hey, Coach, says Jackson. Hey, Jackson, welcome to the show. Great to see you here.
Well, yeah, I was going to say we definitely need a lot of rain. That is the truth, especially here in California.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, today, the allergens are very, very high here. And I even saw it on the trail yesterday, baby. Like I've never seen that trail, with such dry grass, dry brush Like, it is drier than dry. I mean, it can't get any drier than it is. So, rain, please somehow make your way. Let's have some, summer showers and clear up the air a little bit. But anyway,
Just not
probably
this
not.
weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's see here. Red Door Woman in the chat says, I think it would be helpful to discuss the impact of toxic women behavior on men. There are a lot of Karens out there. I am a
Oh
minority and
gosh.
have had more negative interactions with women. So, yeah, I mean, women can be brutal amongst each other. And we talked about that during the first part of the show, so we're not going to really get too far into it. But yeah, I totally get where you're coming from, and there's a reason for that.
No,
We explained it.
yeah,
We explained it during the first half. But go ahead, baby.
but yeah, no, there is a lot of women that are out there manipulating men as well. And
Of
it's
course
just
they
not
are.
online. It's in relationships. It's, you know, I mean, women are not dumb, and they go out there and they do have negative interactions with men because um they are toxic. They are broken. They've been hurt and they feel they want revenge.
Well, yes, baby. And here's the thing. Let me say this very briefly. We could do a separate show on this. Yes, are a lot of women being exploited by these men online and stuff like that? Sure. But a lot of women nowadays are exploiting themselves, and they do it to make quick cash. That's why they have that site, OnlyFans. And a lot of times I've said it before, I'll say it again, women will come out on a platform like YouTube or TikTok or wherever they're at, or Instagram, and they'll basically use their looks and basically sexually exploit themselves for attention and to make money. Yet at the
Yeah,
same time, they're complaining that they're being looked at as sex
as me.
symbols. Ladies,
Yeah.
here's the thing. You can't have it both ways. You can't sit there and sell your looks for money and then complain when you can't find a guy that accepts you for who you are and doesn't try to exploit you. If you're going to exploit yourself, then everyone's going to exploit you. So I think that's kind of sort of what Red Door Woman,
Uh,
to a
mm,
certain extent. That's just one example, baby. Go ahead. You always want to
yeah.
challenge everything.
No, I'm not challenging. It's just that it goes back to when people would say to a woman, well, why did you wear that mini skirt out? Were you asking to be assaulted? No, she wasn't. She just wanted to wear what she felt good in. And, sometimes women will take pictures of themselves just for, just to feel better. They do that. And um I wouldn't recommend putting them out there unless you're sending them
Yeah.
to your own personal family, friends,
Yes.
spouse, I wouldn't just I mean, I get on Snapchat, I take a bunch of crazy pictures, but I only
I
share them with you. I never put them out,
I understand, but
you
here's the
know?
thing. A lot of women initially are not trying to exploit themselves, but what ends up happening is they put pictures on Instagram, for example, or wherever, right? And
Or
then they start
Facebook
getting
or Twitter.
and,
Yeah, yeah.
okay,
All
and
of the
then
or
and
Snapchat.
thank you. And then what happens is they start to get a lot of attention from men, and then they realize these are the thirsty beta males that are, in love with them. And these ladies then start to realize they can start to charge these thirsty, desperate, weak beta males that are extremely vulnerable. And then what happens is these ladies start exploiting the beta male pocketbooks. And that's something that's been very, very common. And that's what I try to help men understand out here is that, look, There are women out there that will use their looks to exploit the vulnerabilities of thirsty beta males. Now, for a guy like me, when I would see women doing this stuff, I'm like, I'm not going to pay for anything like this. What am I going to get out of it? This is a digital world. I meet women in the real world. I have a real woman, and I snuggle up with her when we're together, the nights we spend together. And I don't have to pay her to do that. Now, quite frankly, of course, we go to dates and stuff, and it costs money to be with someone and to live with someone, right? But it's a totally different, thing, right? So, I think a lot of the issues that some of these men have with women is that women are going out there exploiting themselves and exploiting the thirsty beta males. That doesn't give these men the right to attack these women for any reason, right? And so it just creates one big shitstorm of just phony baloney crap on the internet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Red Door Woman says some women just act entitled and mean. Well, sure. Some men act
Yeah. That
entitled and mean
and
too. I mean, go ahead.
yeah, and Red Door, I don't know if you saw the beginning of the show, but we kind of went over the whole mean girl thing and how women act towards each other. Um it's just, I've taken a different change in my life, and I'm no longer a mean girl. I go out there, and if I see somebody that, you know, she's looking good, I'll just tell her, "Hey, lady, that dress looks beautiful on you." Or, "Hey, your hair is gorgeous. Where do you get it done?" Because all those little compliments
Mm-hmm.
really do help the women. And,
Yeah.
even if you are somewhere and you just tell somebody, "Have a nice day," they sometimes, like, I did that at the bank one day with a lady, and she goes, "You know what? You don't know how much I needed that today. Thank you."
Yeah,
And
baby. And you
I
know what the
mean,
thing is? Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, you just never know what people are going through in their lives. So any act of kindness can really change their
Right.
whole perspective that day. Somebody could
R-
be thinking about going home and killing themselves, but if you're nice to them
mm-hmm.
out on the streets there, they might reconsider that, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, baby.
just, go on.
Yeah. I'm not trying to cut you off, baby, but we gotta keep moving forward. Um, I didn't, but I will go back and watch, says Red Door Woman. Thank you. Yeah, I have the DVR, the rewind capabilities disabled on my live streams because I want people engaging your live. You can go back and watch it on the replay. But I think what was happening, baby, is you started to get a dose of your own medicine because, like I've always said, you only get back in life what you put out. How you treat people is how they're going to
Absolutely.
treat you. And you started to see the way you were treating people by the way they were treating you. And then you're like, okay, well, if I don't want to be treated by people this way, then I need to stop treating people this way. Right.
Yeah.
And everyone will
Yeah. I
come to that
mean,
realization on their own at one point or another. And Jackson Black earlier says, I love your stream. Thank you, Jackson. We love you too, man. Thank you very much. Go ahead, babe.
no, it goes back to that whole thing that you're taught: do unto others as you would want them to do unto you.
Correct. Right.
And you show them the respect that you want to get back.
Right.
So
Right.
so yeah, I've just literally let go of all of that stuff, and I just, I mean, I don't get me wrong, I'm not naive, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to fall into anybody's trap, but I that doesn't mean I can't be nice to people.
Absolutely. No, I totally get it. So, baby, we are at 1 hour and 39 minutes. We're going to go another 21 more minutes, get through as much of this as possible, and wrap this up at the 2 hour mark. So let's go back to the browser screen here. There we are. And let's leave off where we left off. Violence online used to disable a conducive environment for women's work in society. Due to the role they play in society, particular groups of women and girls may also be more exposed to such violence. Public figures, politicians, journalists, video game players and creators, environmental and other activists, and women's rights defenders are increasingly engaged in the digital sphere, where they can document and expose human rights violations, access and share information, gain visibility, and mobilize people for action. This work is crucial as it provides for new opportunities for awareness and accountability. However, being on the forefront exposes them to further risks of violence and smear campaigns aimed at the legitimatizing their person and their work. As a woman and commissioner for human rights, I am familiar with such attacks. In my previous work as the OSCE representative on the freedom of the media, and during the time I worked as director of broadcasting of the Communications Regulatory Agency in my hometown of Sarajevo, the Olympics were there many decades ago, I experienced what it means to be harassed online. As a very active social media consumer, I could testify that most attackers were anonymous and most of them aggressively misogynist, and they all ultimately tried to silence me. The attacks were not trying to argue any points related to substance, but they were mainly addressing me as a woman who should not have power. Misogynist comments, spreading false information related to me and my family were landing on my Facebook and Twitter accounts. In some instances, these were very violent or were inciting to violence. Baby, here's the thing. I'm seeing a lot of misogynistic men that create content out here on YouTube, also on Reddit, also on Facebook and other social media platforms. And it's sickening to me. And again, it's just from what I've seen. Maybe you folks have seen differently, but it's primarily millennial men and some men that are Gen Zers, but primarily it's men between the ages of 25 to 40. And when I look at my largest demographic audience on YouTube, it is men, and it is the men within the range of the millennials. It's just unbelievable. And it seems like these millennial men are very active, extremely active on the internet. And they're doing exactly what was stated here. They're going out there and they're seeing their female counterparts doing great things, becoming successful, and making something out of themselves. And instead of these men just doing something like they are normally, they attack these women and make that their content. And it's really, really sad and pathetic and unmanly. Like, what are your thoughts about that, babe?
Well, yes, I agree with you that it's unmanly and it's pathetic. But
It is.
I'm not going to just blanket the millennials, because I know for a fact that there have been men on YouTube that have blasted me that are in their 50s,
Correct.
and grown ass men that have tried to belittle me and talk shit. And so it's not just the kids.
Uh-huh.
It's all of the men out there that are insecure. They've got little tiny you know what, and they just have to attack women because that's
Mm-hmm.
all they have in their life. When you sit
Yeah.
behind a keyboard on a recliner and do nothing all day long but sit
Yeah.
there, that's all you have to do is
Sit
attack people.
there, and drink beer all day and alcohol and not get any exercise and just attack women all day long. Yeah, that's what a lot of
Yeah.
these types of creators
I
do. And you're
mean,
right. It's it's
yeah,
it's not
I've
just
been
hold
out.
on, baby. Go ahead.
Uh-huh. I was gonna say I was out already this morning. I went to a cute little boutique. I did some shopping. I've been
Yeah.
out and about, and then I came home to do this. And then when I'm done, I have more things to do during the day. I'm not going to be obsessed watching what everybody else is doing or rebroadcasting or restreaming or doing anything else. I don't care,
Yeah.
you
Okay.
know?
Okay. No, I totally understand that, baby. I totally understand that. And yes, you're right. It is not just the millennial men. It is the Gen Xers and some boomers. and some Gen Zers. But again, the majority, if I had to say, if I took percentages, the millennial men are about 75% of the issue. Now, not all millennial men, fall into this category, but I would say, you know, you know, more of them than not do and are this way, right? And what happens is, a lot of these Gen X men that are, over 40 and some are in their 50s, up to, I think, 41 to 55 or 56 are Gen Xers, and after 56 are boomers, right? Okay. Yes, there are a few Gen X men that are behaving erratically, but why are they behaving erratically? Because they're unhappy within themselves. Like Dion was saying when he was on here the other night, the Steve Smoke channel, he was saying a lot of these guys are incels, which stands for involuntary celibates, right? So they couldn't get a woman if they even wanted to. I mean, they could if they turned their life around, but in order to get a woman, first of all, you got to take care of yourself, and you have to love yourself, and you have to be a happy, positive person, right?
And you
But
have to
instead of
leave the house.
and you have to leave the house too. But what happens with these men, like that are in their, mid to late 40s, early to mid 50s, right? And even the Gen Z men and the boomer men that do this, they go and they look to find somebody similar as them to conglomerate with and hang out with because it makes them feel better. So they'll go and they will conglomerate with these millennial creators, and then next thing you know, they get indoctrinated in a culture, and they feel like they're in a place with people that are going through the same things as they are, which they are. But see, that's not going to help you overcome your issue. That's just going to make your issue worse because you're hanging around with people suffering from the same thing, and instead of fixing the underlying issue, you folks are just saying it's okay to be this way. And it just makes the matter worse. Do you understand what I'm saying, baby? You're never going to fix the underlying issue when you're hanging around with people that have the same issue as you do. You got to hang around with people that have already solved the issue and are going to put you in a more positive environment. What are your thoughts before we continue?
Well, that literally just defines the definition of insanity. Is doing the
Right.
same thing over and over again and getting no results. So if you're going to hang out with the same people that are negative and not getting any results, then that's just straight up insanity.
Right. Right. Amen. Let's continue. But I am not the only one. There are millions of voices in the digital space that experience a similar or even worse situation. Those voices and their courageous testimonies inspired me to start a project in 2015 during my mandate as OSCE representative on freedom of the media. The project focuses on the online safety of female journalists and is still ongoing, and is of great relevance to journalists and researchers in Europe and beyond. I have addressed the digital dimension of violence against female journalists in several instances. It is disturbing to see how their important role of public watchdogs in democratic societies is heavily undermined by them being constantly inundated with threats of murder, rape, physical violence, and with graphic imagery via digital means. Let's stop right there, baby. This is
Yeah.
ridiculous. You've seen this on TV, Netflix, and other places. You've seen it on YouTube. You've seen it all over social media. What are your thoughts about what I just mentioned? I mean, it is disturbing to see how important their role of public watchdogs is heavily undermined by them being constantly inundated with threats of murder, rape, physical violence, graphic imagery. I'm gonna dox your nudes if you stop supporting me or whatever, right? Or stop following me or stop donating to me, right? And it's
Well,
like,
yeah.
yeah, it's an insecurity. These men that are doing this stuff, they're very, very insecure because they're feminized men. And basically, they feel that they can't create something genuine. So they have to do this type of stupid shit to get
Well,
attention and be relevant and make money
yeah.
on the internet. Go ahead.
I just want to say it's not only happening to women, on the internet, but these people are taking videos from before, or phone messages, or Facebook messages, and they're twisting them, and it doesn't matter if it's a female or a man that's
Mm-hmm.
doing it. And then they're
Right.
using it as blackmail on you.
Right. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what happens. And, it's because they're too insecure to, do something, more positive and, create an audience of positive people. It's much easier to create an audience when you're trash talking people, and the more out of line you are, the more out of whack things you do. Yeah, people are going to tune in because they're like, what the hell's wrong with this person, right? And
Well, I mean,
some
yeah,
guys
let's just think.
play that up. But
Yeah,
eventually, I'll tell you, baby, here's the thing. Eventually, over the course of time, that facade is going to end. It is going to completely end by either A, that person being removed from the internet or many platforms, B, people stop supporting him, or C, you know, this guy's these types of guys are not going to be healthy enough to be able to continue doing what they're doing. This creates mental issues, which create physical issues as well. Mental,
yeah.
emotional issues that lead to physical issues, and stress and mental anguish that's going to affect your health and give you a heart attack. But go ahead.
No, no, you're fine. Go on.
Oh, shall I continue, or you have nothing more to add to
Yeah.
that?
Nope.
All right, we are at 1 hour and 51 minutes. We're going to be wrapping this up in about 9 minutes, folks. I have noted how female journalists in the Balkans are subjected to widespread violence and misogyny online. Attacks online are often a very violent nature and include death threats. Oh, yeah, that's happened many times to me and many other people, as was the case for female journalists in Bosnia Herzegovina when reporting on, for example, migration or dumping of waste. In Croatia, online threats as well as smear campaigns against female journalists are common. In Finland, a survey found that 1 in 4 journalists had been the victim of verbal harassment, such as insults and threats implying physical violence. Most of the journalists targeted were women, and such online attacks were triggered by articles on migration. In some instances, online threats of violence and abuse against female journalists are so severe that steps have to be taken to ensure their safety and security, as was the case in the UK. I am also concerned by the situation of women journalists in Turkey, a country which is experiencing a significant number of online and offline threats and attacks against women journalists. I was particularly struck by the increased level of sexist speech expressed online and offline against female journalists in Slovenia. And I made a number of recommendations in relation to changing the toxic environment in which these women are working. In Malta, I also reiterated the need to tackle the scourge of sexist harassment, including online against female journalists, and to ensure that all those responsible for the murder of journalist Daphne Caruana Galiza are held accountable. Human rights standards to ensure the safety of journalists and combat gender-based violence exist. Implementation is, however, lacking. Well, I think, what was I going to say here? The reason why this is happening is clearly men, especially millennial men, but, some of the other,
Nope.
men in the other generations. Why do you say no? I can't finish saying what I'm
I
saying.
believe, yeah, no, I believe it has to do with a lot of the older men that are having a problem with women being out there in the workforce, being a journalist,
I agree.
especially in these countries.
Okay, so here's the thing. Yes, it is all men, all generations of men are doing this to a certain extent. I think the millennials are using the internet more than any other generation to combat this. Maybe that's why it looks more apparent, right? That it's more the millennials. But the bottom line is what it all boils down to is these men are being surpassed by women. Women are working harder. They're getting college degrees. They're more educated than men. Okay. They're more professional than men. They dress better than men. They smell better than men. They communicate. Women have always communicated typically better than men, but nowadays, women are just even further surpassing men with their communication style and stuff like that. They're becoming better leaders than men. The CEO of YouTube is a woman, Susan Wojcicki, and she's done a phenomenal job, in my opinion, turning this company around and making it what it is today. Sure, does there need to be more done to combat this type of shit that's happening with cyberbullying, harassment, and threats and all that? Sure. But I think, for the beast that she's running, YouTube, with 2.5 billion monthly unique users, they're doing the best they can, with what they've got and just how the platform is. But I think the main issue is these men are jealous that women are surpassing them, right? Especially female
Yeah.
reporters. I've seen a lot of female reporters on CNN. And quite honestly, I like the male and female reporters. I like them both. But I see these cute female reporters, and they're very educated, and they're very well spoken, and they dress nice, they speak well, and they're cute too, which helps. Okay, no disrespect. You want to see a cute lady, right, on the screen, and I sit there and I say to myself, well, wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. They're hiring, like CNN. They are more of a liberal based type of company, but they don't criticize people, based on their race or ethnicity or, sex or whatever, right? They criticize people based on the facts, right? And they treat men and women equally. They have an equal amount of men and women that are working for the company, and you always see an equal amount of men and women that CNN goes back and forth with through their staff that's reporting.
You know,
And I
and
really respect that. I do.
yeah. Thanks for saying that. And I also want to make a note that the MLB is also starting to bring a lot of women. If you look on sports news, you'll see a lot of women who are broadcasters, and they know a lot about the sports. And
Mm-hmm.
I know my personal team, the Giants, we actually hired a woman coach, and I think she's the first one to be hired by the major baseball league. And so that just shows the platform that these women have now. Um, Fortunately, I think in the baseball world, I think they're accepting to it. They are very chill, you know. We are competitive, but still, we've had bat girls, bat boys, and now we have a coach that's a female, and I think it's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely, baby. And
I mean,
and I
Amy G is there all the time. I could drop her
oh
name because
you
she's a person.
you're talking about Gutierrez, right?
No, I'm talking about Amy G on the Giants. She's the female broadcaster
Yeah,
that
yes, her
goes
name is
out there.
Amy Gutierrez.
Oh, I just call her Amy G because that's
That's what the G stands for.
yeah, no,
Uh,
but her and I are at that level. She's just Amy G.
she's been actually, broadcasting for the Giants, I think, for well over 20 years now, 25 years. She's been
Yes.
doing it for a long time. She was one of the first female sportscasters. She would go on the field and interview fans and interview players and stuff like that. And yeah, that's much respect.
And
And
we have
actually,
Renell. Yeah, and we have Renell doing all of our announcements up in the booth.
correct.
She
Renell
was a
was
local DJ
God.
for
He never let a
106.5 back in the day. And now this is where she is.
It's 106.1 KMEL is where she was at.
No, was it? I thought she was on 106.5.
No,
All right.
106.1 KMEL was where Renell was at. Now, she might have done some time at a different radio station, but she came from 106.1 KMEL in San Francisco. And what happened was back in those days, this was in, I believe it was in the mid 90s or something.
Mid 90s. Yeah.
The Giants were the first organization to have a female PA announcer, public address announcer.
Yep, she says all my boys' names.
And I will tell you, oh no, it was before Renell. I think there was a lady named Sherry Davis before that.
Oh, you're right. There was one before Renell.
Yes,
I think you're right about that. Yeah.
I'm looking back here. So yes, here we go, and it's not on the screen. Sherry Davis came very close to not making history as the first full-time female public address announcer in the major leagues. Fortunately, her ultimate love for the game and Candlestick Park won out. So yes, in the early spring of 1993, the San Francisco Giants held an open audition for a new PA announcer, and 500 people showed up to compete for the job, including Davis. Each prospective announcer had the opportunity to read two batters, and when Davis' turn concluded with applause from her fellow contestants, she felt invigorated but also concerned. At the time, she was a legal secretary, and after the high of nailing her audition wore off, the worry set in. There are all those day games. What am I going to do? I thought myself, I can't do that. 1 week later, the phone rang and the Giants invited her for a callback. Shortly thereafter, she got the job. Yeah, she was the redhead. I see, baby. I think
now I remember that.
Yeah.
Now, I remember her, but I think it was because Renell was just, I listened to her on the radio, and then when she went over to the Giants, it was really pivotal for me, and so that's why she stuck in my head more than this other one did. But yeah, no, I do remember her now that you brought her up.
Yeah. And
can I say Renell is a strong Black woman succeeding in this world?
Yeah, Renell Brooks Moon. Yeah, so basically, she's worked for many radio stations, even Kiss FM, KMEL, KFRC, KISQ, KBLX. In 2000, Brooks Moon became the second full-time female public address announcer in the major league when she joined the SF Giants. Sherry Davis, who announced for the team for its last 7 seasons at Candlestick Park, preceded Brooks Moon, who took over for Davis when the Giants moved from Candlestick Park to AT&T Park. So when the Giants got their new ballpark in 2000, yeah, baby, because you were mentioning it, and I was like, no, it wasn't. Renell wasn't the first one. It was Sherry Davis.
Yeah,
and then I had to
I remember that.
Yeah. So
no,
the thing is this.
Yeah,
and we need to wrap this up in a few here, but here's the thing. This is what's happening with a lot of these men, is that they just can't stand seeing women succeed at things that were once only known as things that men would typically do. Here's the thing, guys. Get your head out of your asses, okay? And just start being a cool, down-to-earth human being. And understand that women are going to do pretty much almost anything and everything you guys can do nowadays. And if you guys can't handle that, right, then you're not a man in my book and in most other people's books, right? Real men don't kick down other women just because those women are more successful than men. It's pathetic. It's weak. It's beta behavior. It's just ridiculous. And it's so obvious. Hold on, baby, real quick. It's so obvious when men behave this way. And not only is it obvious to women that see this, that they're jealous of women's success. It's obvious also to men like myself. Maybe the beta males don't get this, but to men like myself, it's so obvious when I see weak, pathetic men attacking women, clearly because they're jealous that they're more successful than the man. Go ahead, baby, because we need to wrap this up.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say that that has been going on for a while. Women have been getting careers. They're doctors, they're lawyers, they're nurses. These are all high-paying jobs that will outrank some other jobs, you know? Um, for example, when I was married and I was a nurse, my ex-husband and I were pretty much equal on our
Mm-hmm.
income. And, I don't know if that affected him or not, but yeah, like that's how it can go. Like women can make as much or more money than men, and it takes a strong man to accept that. And just know that if you're in a relationship with that woman, you guys are partners and
Yeah.
it's equal. It's equal. It doesn't matter who makes more money. You guys are both working for the same purpose. And that's just
Right.
to be together.
I think the best thing, baby, is for a man and a woman to make, similar income, whether the woman makes a little more or the guy makes a little more. It's never going to be exact, but I think the best thing for people to do is find someone in your league. Find someone like
Yes, yes.
if you make a, a,
I'm not saying
a,
have a woman who's an attorney or a doctor, a surgeon, go out there and date somebody who works at a fast food restaurant.
no, I
That
understand.
that's not going to be a
What
compatible
Yes,
thing.
what I'm saying, baby, is that let's say the guy makes 100 grand a year doing his job, and the woman makes 107 grand. That's pretty close, right?
Pretty close, yeah.
Technically does your woman make more than you? Sure, but that's nothing to be insecure about. And as a man, you can always strive to make more and help your woman make more too, right?
But what
But
I
hold on,
look at
hold on.
that
I
as,
want to,
yeah.
baby, you you have so much energy in the morning. Let me just finish my thought, and we'll get back to yours. Um, but when it comes to, for example, let's say your woman makes 100 grand, and you as the man make 25, 30 grand. That's going to cause a problem for the woman and the man, no matter what anyone says. And so as a woman, and I've seen women, I've dated a woman in the past that basically made 4 times what her ex-husband made, and didn't realize until later on in life that she couldn't respect that, and then went through a nasty divorce. And he made out in the divorce. Why? Because she was the breadwinner. You share half the assets, right? So I think in that situation, it's about finding someone as close to equal of a playing field as possible, right? Again, as a man, you know, if you're making 100 grand a year, you're not going to be going after women that are making 500,000 or 1 million a year. Because even if you do go after them, they're not going to give you the time of day because you're not at their level, right? And it's not saying that you're not good enough or you're not capable of reaching that level. But honestly, I think what people need to more so focus on is staying in their lane and dating somebody that's at an equal playing level. And that's why I'm with
Yeah,
you. That's why I am with
yeah.
you. Go ahead.
And that's why I was gonna say, when you say if a man makes 100,000 and a woman makes 107, me as a woman, I just look at that as $207,000 of income that me and my man made. It's
Right.
not individual, you know?
Correct.
It's
Correct.
we've done this collaboratively together.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so but yeah, I was in a relationship where I was the breadwinner and the other guy was just bouncing from job to job, making minimum wage.
Hmm.
And that was difficult.
Yeah.
It was difficult when I was making $500 to $600 a day and he was just sitting at home drinking and smoking weed,
Hmm.
and then he would question me why I was gone 12 hours a day. And I'm like, well, that's my shift to work 12
Hmm.
hours, you
That's
know?
true.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's frustrating when that's the case. So
Yeah.
I agree with you. Be with somebody in your same lane that
Hmm.
has the same purpose, the same drive, and all of that to succeed in life.
Amen, baby. We got to wrap this up. We're at 2 hours and 10 minutes. So anything else you want to mention very briefly, baby?
No, I just want to thank everybody again for being here. All of the messages, we appreciate everything, everybody who watched. So thank you for that. And, we'll be back soon, maybe tonight. I know my man's going to go for a walk, so you'll see that. But um, him and I may be back tonight.
Yeah, I think what we'll do, baby, is let's do a show tonight. Very brief, just 1 hour, no break, just 1 hour. We're just gonna do a Q&A, just a Q&A,
Sounds
and
great.
I'm gonna be doing my Walking with Purpose stream, folks, coming up in a few hours, probably around 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. And then the other show is probably not going to happen until 7:30 or 8, baby. I know it's later than we normally would do it, but it's a show that's going to be no blog and only 1 hour. I think we'll be able to handle it, right?
All right.
Quick
Yeah.
in and quick out. So let's do that. All right, babe. Thank you so much for being here. Lots of love. If you're around to moderate the chat of the walking stream or in the walking stream, that'd be great. If not, no worries. We got it. We got it handled.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'll let you know what's going on with my landlord if I have to be at the doctor's with him and what I can do.
Sounds good, babe. Thank you so much for being here and talk with you in a bit.
Alrighty, I love you. Thank you,
Love
everybody.
Love you too, babe. Bye-bye now. All right. That was my lady and I. That was a great show. Really, really good show. Sorry for the first part. I had some terrible allergies. They've kind of calmed down right now. I was able to blow my nose and get it all out during the break, so I feel a heck of a lot better. Maybe the Flonase is kicking in more. And I'll be taking my Allegra as well before I go on my walk. So that typically helps as well. But thank you to everyone for being here again. Please subscribe, bang the bell, select the notifications if you haven't already done so here. And make sure you go over to my main channel, Coach Eli, Elias Melas, and subscribe there as well. Nightbot's been sharing the link in the chat every 7 minutes, or just go to youtube.com/live Coach Eli. Lots more content is coming over there as well. I haven't done anything on that channel for a little over a week because I made a transition to this channel, moving the live streams here, all the live streams here, and that channel will be primarily a pre-recorded video channel with more bite-sized, high-quality content. So make sure you subscribe over there as well, and bang the bell and select the notifications. With that being said, have yourselves a great one. Take care. See you all next time. And as always, be good to each other.